Let's rewind 30 days to Canto and those flops variants. Has they climbed in value or did they stall out? 60 days ago, we saw the debut of the new Ultimate Wolverine. Was it a solid investment or did the hype fizzled out? And 90 days back, Forbidden Planet movie buzz had collectors chasing this book. Does it still hold up or has the excitement faded? It's time for 30, 60, 90 Look Back. Thirty, 60, 90. This is the portion of the show where we look at books that made the top list 30 days ago, 60 days ago, and 90 days ago. As you can see on this list, there's books here that we've actually talked ad nauseum at times. It feels like ad nauseum. But one of them is going to go away, and we're not going to talk about it unless it shows up in the list again someday. Shane, you look at this list right now. You look at these three books. What's your immediate thoughts?
I'm not surprised to see any of the three here. The Ultimate Universe 1 year later book, not as big as I thought it was going to be, and we've talked about that before. Mm-hmm. The Forbidden Planet, classic sci-fi cover, I love that one. And the Canto, like I said when you showed it, I had no idea about this book, so that's a surprise to me.
Yeah. Let's take a look, that book itself. Let's take a look at Canto. It came out a month ago on our top 10 list, and it's the flops variant. So this is Canto, A Place Like Home, number 6. This book came out in 2025 for Dark Horse Comics. When it was number 1 was January 20th, which was week 3 of January. Near mid value of the book was $60. That was the top weekly sale of the book, and it sold 31 units that week. The raws were going for $49 near mint, and there were no grades in the list. As of today, the last recorded sale of the book was $17, and that was on February 16th. 30-day period, it sold only 30 copies. The book has dropped from $49 to $20 near mint, but the highest known value of this book is at $60 raw, which is really the same as the top weekly sale of this book. As of today, there's still no books in the census. So this book has dramatically dropped its value.
Yeah, and that's not a huge surprise. Not every independent book that I don't know about is going to be worth money or not be worth money. But this one, you just don't seem to read anything about it or have any kind of news articles about it. So I'm not surprised it's going down some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with this book, it was more about the artist rendition here of the story. That cover, which is Flops, he's a pretty popular artist. What many believe to have been another version of a Mark Spears effect just didn't happen here. It kind of came in, but there was no momentum. So I think part of it was not having another Flops, if that makes sense. Not having him do more covers. Where with Mark Spears, I think one of the things with Mark Spears, with on top of the Universal Monsters, of course, with Mark Spears, I think it's like they're hammering it out. He keeps coming up with another book, and there's another one. And then when you see multiple books, there's like, oh, I gotta get that one, or I gotta get not that one. With Flops, this is what you get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree with that. That's probably a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. So if he throws another book in and probably get people to buy it, then this book could actually see an uptick again. But as of right now, it's a $15 book at most, I'll say. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at what was hot 60 days ago, and that's Ultimate Universe 1 year in, number 1, the spoiler variant. This book came out in 2024 from Marvel Comics. At its time, it was on December 18th, week 3. It had a top weekly sale of $60 and a 9.8. Weekly units sold was 145. The raws were going for $18 near mint. The graded copies were going for $57 at a 9.8. As of today, the book has remained at $60 with the last recorded sale. The 60-day period was only 21 units sold, and the raws are now going for about $13 near mint, while the graded copies actually had an uptick of $59. At its highest, this book went for $70 at a 9.8, and that was January 15th. And as of today, there's 162 copies in the census.
This one's a little strange, like we talked about. I have a couple of copies of it. Mm-hmm. I think people are still kind of waiting for the Ultimate Wolverine train to pick up speed. I know that the next issue is coming out this week. So because it's early on in that, there's still room for this book to get some more attention if that book really takes off.
Yeah. And issue 2 is out this week. This Wednesday will come out issue 2, so we might gain some more steam with Wolverine. But unlike Absolute Batman, this book just didn't see that ridiculousness in sales. So I don't know what was the difference between that and this, because like we said, this book should have been the same as Batman was, but it just didn't happen that way. So yeah. You get what I'm saying? So who knows? Let's go with our last book. This is the book that was hot 90 days ago, and that's Forbidden Planet #1. This book came out in 1992 for Innovation Comics. During its height, November 18th, that was the week 3, this book had a top weekly sale of $121 at a 9.8. The weekly units sold at that time was 47 copies. The fair market value of this book was $10 at a fine, while $80 at 9.6 for graded copies. As of today, a 9.6 sold for $78, and that was February 10th. Only 13 copies of this book has sold in that 90-day period. The book is now going for $19, so we've seen an uptick of $9. And the graded copy is going for $191 at a 9.8 as fair market value. The highest known sale of this book happened in November at $283 for a 9.8. And surprisingly, only 49 copies exist in the census as of right now. This book has come up, but hasn't really sold.
Yeah, you can see that the sales trend is definitely down. So people that have sought out this book pretty much have found it.
Yeah, but what I'm not seeing here is why is it that this book has went up in value? So is there still a demand for this book or not? Because if the value of the book is going up, wouldn't you think there's more demand for this book? But yet you don't see it in the sales figures.
Yeah, and it could be that those sales, there's just not as many people parting with it now. So there's lower numbers available. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it is hard. I think that 283 might have done something to it as well. That might have affected that fair market value of this book. But at the same token, it's just odd that you only have 13 sales since November. And yet, here we are. Oh, with that said, that's the list, guys. Let me know what you think about these books. Do you own any of them? Are you excited for them? Do you feel like that they're going to go up or they're going to go down? Let me know in the comments, and we'll talk about 360-90 next week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.